Oh my God, could you move any slower? Some of us have places to be. 11-year-old Veronica Chen rolled her eyes dramatically as the man in front of her struggled with his carry-on bag at the TSA checkpoint. He was maybe in his late 30s, wearing a simple t-shirt and jeans, moving carefully as if every motion hurt. To Veronica, he was just another obstacle between her and the first-class lounge her father had promised. The man glanced back at her, his expression neutral. Sorry, I'll just be a minute. Yeah, well, maybe you should have packed lighter if you can't handle your own bag. Her mother, busy on a call about some business deal, didn't even notice the exchange. Veronica had learned that as long as she didn't cause a scene loud enough to interrupt her parents' work, she could say pretty much anything. The man finally got his bag onto the conveyor belt, moving with the kind of careful precision that suggested old injuries. Veronica huffed past him, throwing her designer backpack onto the belt without breaking stride. She didn't notice the way several TSA agents stiffened when they saw the man, or how one of them quietly stood a little straighter. After getting through security, Veronica found herself behind the same man again at a coffee stand. He was counting out exact change, his hands trembling slightly. Veronica's impatience boiled over. Are you serious right now? It's the 21st century. Ever heard of a credit card? The man pocketed his change, slowly. Credit cards can be tracked. Some of us prefer to stay off the grid when we can. Yeah. Okay. Whatever conspiracy theory you're into. Just move. She pushed past him to place her order, not noticing the military ID that briefly flashed from his wallet. The barista, a young guy with a Marine Corps tattoo visible on his forearm, definitely noticed. His eyes widened. Sir, your coffee is on the house today. Thank you for your service. The man shook his head. That's not necessary. It absolutely is, sir, Veronica scoffed. Oh, great. Another one of those, thank you for your service guys. You probably weren't even in the real military. Let me guess, National Guard? Weekend warrior? The man turned to look at her fully for the first time. His eyes were a pale blue, calm, but somehow intense. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, but carried an edge that made the barista step back. Young lady, you don't know anything about me or what I've done. I'd suggest you show a little more respect to people you don't know. Or what? You'll complain to my parents? Good luck with that. They're too busy running actual businesses to care about some guy's hurt feelings. What Veronica didn't know was that the man standing in front of her was Commander Marcus Reed, retired Navy SEAL. 20 years of service, including operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, and several classified locations he could never discuss. The trembling in his hands wasn't weakness. It was nerve damage from being tortured for 3 days after a mission went wrong in Syria, refusing to give up information that would have gotten his entire team killed. He'd earned 2 Bronze Stars, a Silver Star, and a Purple Heart with 3 clusters. And right now, his patience with entitled children was wearing very thin. The barista tried to defuse the situation. Miss, maybe you should just make my coffee instead of playing soldier with your buddies. That's when a voice cut through the tension like a knife. Is there a problem here? Everyone turned to see a man in his 50s, wearing a casual suit but carrying himself with unmistakable authority. He had the look of someone used to being obeyed instantly. His eyes went from Veronica to Commander Reed, and something in his expression shifted. Marcus? Marcus Reed? The commander's face showed recognition. Admiral Carlson? The older man's stern expression broke into a genuine smile. It's been what? 5 years? How are you? Son? Getting by, sir. Enjoying civilian life as much as possible. Admiral Carlson noticed Veronica for the first time, then looked back at Reed. Was this young lady giving you trouble? Before Reed could answer, Veronica jumped in. I wasn't giving anyone trouble. I just asked this guy to hurry up and he got all sensitive about it. The Admiral's eyes went cold. This guy? Do you have any idea who you're talking to? Some random veteran who thinks he deserves special treatment? What happened next would change Veronica's entire day and possibly her entire perspective on life. Admiral Carlson pulled out his phone and made a call. Security? This is Admiral James Carlson, USN retired. I need you to pull the security footage from the coffee stand, checkpoint 4, for the last 10 minutes. Yes, I'll wait. Veronica's mother finally ended her call and approached. Veronica, what's going on? We need to get to the gate. Ma'am, your daughter has been harassing a decorated war veteran, the Admiral said calmly. I'm currently reviewing security footage to determine if her behavior warrants involving airport police. Mrs. Chen's face went pale. What? Veronica, what did you do? I didn't do anything. I just asked him to move faster and he got all upset. The Admiral's phone buzzed. He watched something on the screen, his expression growing darker. He turned the phone to show Mrs. Chen. On it, Veronica's mocking tone and dismissive attitude were crystal clear. Your daughter called Commander Reed a weekend warrior, mocked his service, and dismissed him as someone seeking special treatment. She also insulted a TSA agent and a barista who showed him respect. Mrs. Chen's hands shook as she took in the video. Veronica Marie Chen, you apologize right now. For what? I didn't know he was some big deal. Commander Reed finally spoke, his voice still quiet, but carrying an authority that made everyone in earshot stop talking. That's exactly the problem. You didn't care who I was. You saw someone you perceived as beneath you and decided they weren't worth basic human respect. That's not an accident. That's a character flaw. The Admiral nodded. Commander Reed led one of the most successful SEAL teams in recent history. He personally saved over 40 lives in combat situations. He was captured and tortured for 72 hours and didn't break. And you treated him like garbage because he was moving too slowly for your convenience. Veronica felt something she'd rarely experienced. Genuine shame. The people around them were staring now, many recording on their phones. This was going to be everywhere. I didn't know. No, you didn't. And you didn't care to know. That's worse. Mrs. Chen looked at the Admiral desperately. Please, what can we do to make this right? Admiral Carlson considered for a moment, then looked at Commander Reed. Marcus, what do you think? She's young. Maybe there's a teaching moment here. Reed studied Veronica with those intense blue eyes. She suddenly felt very small and very foolish. How old are you? 11. When I was 11, I thought I knew everything too. Then life taught me better. He paused, seeming to make a decision. You want to make this right? I volunteer at a VA hospital every Wednesday. Veterans who are struggling with injury, PTSD, homelessness. Come volunteer for one day, just one. Listen to their stories. See what real sacrifice looks like. Veronica nodded quickly. Yes, okay. I'll do it. And you'll write a public apology, the Admiral added, taking full responsibility for your behavior. No excuses about not knowing who he was. Just acknowledging that you treated another human being with contempt and you were wrong. Mrs. Chen agreed immediately. Yes, absolutely. Veronica will do both. Over the next week, the video of Veronica's confrontation with Commander Reed went viral. The comments were brutal. Her school friends saw it. Their parents saw it. Everyone saw it. But the worst part wasn't the public shaming. The worst part was the following Wednesday, when she showed up at the VA hospital. Commander Reed met her at the entrance, looking no different than he had at the airport. Ready? I guess. Wrong answer. You're either committed to being here and learning something, or you're wasting everyone's time. Which is it? Veronica straightened up. I'm ready to learn. Better. He led her through the hospital, introducing her to men and women who'd given everything for their country. A 24-year-old who'd lost both legs to an IED. A woman in her 30s struggling with PTSD so severe she couldn't hold a job. A man in his 60s, homeless, unable to readjust to civilian life after 3 tours in Vietnam. Each one had a story. Each one had sacrificed more than Veronica could comprehend. And each one treated her with more kindness than she'd shown them. By the end of the day, Veronica was emotionally exhausted. Commander Reed sat down with her in the hospital cafeteria. What did you learn today? Veronica struggled to find words. That I've been incredibly selfish. That I judge people without knowing anything about them. That there are people who've given up everything while I complain about waiting an extra 2 minutes in line. That's a start. But here's what I really want you to understand. Those people you met today, none of them think they're heroes. They're just people who did their duty. And they do it again, despite everything they've lost. That's real character. That's what you should aspire to. Veronica wrote her apology that night. She posted it publicly, as promised, and included a link to donate to the VA hospital. The response was mixed, but some people acknowledged her effort to make amends. 3 months later, Veronica was still volunteering at the VA hospital. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She'd formed friendships with several veterans, including Commander Reed, who continued to mentor her. Her parents noticed the change in their daughter. She was kinder, more thoughtful, less demanding. She'd learned the difference between confidence and arrogance, between self-assurance and entitlement. One Wednesday, as Veronica was helping serve lunch to veterans, Commander Reed pulled her aside. I have something for you. He handed her a challenge coin, a Navy SEAL trident on one side, a message on the other. Earned through service, given through respect. I give these to people who demonstrate the values our teams held dear. You've earned this. Veronica felt tears sting her eyes. I don't deserve this. I was so horrible to you. You were. But you acknowledged it. You learned from it. And you changed. That takes more courage than most people ever show. Be proud of that growth. But don't forget where you came from. Let it remind you to always see the humanity in others. That coin became Veronica's most prized possession. Not because it was from a Navy SEAL, though that was impressive, but because it represented the moment she stopped being the entitled brat who judged others by appearances and started being someone who looked for the good in everyone. Years later, when Veronica applied to college, she wrote her essay about that day in the airport, about learning that the strongest people are often the quietest ones, about understanding that real power comes from service, not status, about the Navy SEAL who could have destroyed her reputation, but chose instead to teach her a better way. She got into her first-choice school, but more importantly, she became someone worthy of the second chance Commander Marcus Reed had given her, and she never forgot the lesson. Respect isn't about knowing someone's rank or achievements. It's about recognizing the inherent worth in every person you meet, even the ones moving slowly through airport security.